All right, hey, what's up? Kanae here, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you 10 things that I wish that I knew years ago as a young, ambitious male coming up in the world, doing my thing, and I think that had I known these things, I probably would have what I have today a lot sooner and with a lot less adversity. But the good news is that you're getting this information right now. So grab a pen and paper so you can add this to your arsenal and be weaponized against the future and become unstoppable as you keep going forward. So let's go ahead and start with number one. Number one is remember that you are mortal.
You're gonna die in there, all of you.
Yes, I know that sounds morbid. How is it gonna start that? With the number one is to remember that I'm gonna die. Yes. Remember that we are mortal. We're all mortal. Remember that you are mortal. And the reason I say this is because as young men, we tend to take lots of risk, throw caution to the wind, cause disorder and chaos that eventually is going to catch up with us and haunt us later in the future. In fact, I was reading about a study here recently. Well, the study was a few decades ago, actually. But in that study, they were studying young people who said that they want to have more money, save more money, be more wealthy, be financially independent. But of course, those people weren't actually doing anything about it. That shouldn't come as a surprise. What they realized, though, through the interviews of the people in the study is that they really couldn't imagine themselves being much older. They couldn't really imagine their future self. And so they ultimately just ended up living for today. So what they did is they devised a computer program that allowed them to take snapshots, pictures of the people in the study. They then aged those people using these computer programs, gave them a picture of themselves older and in the future, and all of a sudden it became real for them. They began to realize that the actions that they took today could be in love and service of that future being that they were one day going to become. And all of a sudden, a tremendously greater percentage of those people started saving, investing, and doing the things that they had been saying that they wanted to do for so long, but not taking any action towards. And the good news is there's all sorts of apps that you can find right now where you can take a selfie of yourself, age yourself, and see your future self 20, 30 years from now, and realize that the actions that you take today, decisions that you make today are going to impact that person. And you are going to become that person. That is you. If you want to love that future self and take care of that future self, then love and take care of your present self as well. Let's go ahead and get into number two. Number two is love versus lust. As a young man, I remember getting my first piece of tail, let's say, and it just drove me crazy.
You don't know how hard it is being a woman.
I started, abandoning my friends, not doing my schoolwork. Eventually later on in life, after I graduated high school, I was not showing up for jobs, chasing tail all over the place. Listen, that is not love, all right? That is lust. That is infatuation. When all you can think about is all of the plus sides of this person and all of the great things about them, and you can't really realize, you don't see all of the downsides about them, that's infatuation. You're not seeing both sides of the situation. Love is what comes long after the lust is over, my friend. It's what comes long after you've gotten over all of the hormonal stuff, and now you have to communicate in a way that's effective. You have to be two independent beings coming together to strategize and create some synergy to live an integrated life. Love is what happens over time. It's not what's happening between your legs. So know the difference between lust and love, and realize that you are not in love, most likely, if you're feeling driven after that person all the time. Instead, you're just lusting. And lust can destroy a lot of things around you, including more important relationships and more important goals and ambitions. So be careful of that one. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. Love learning. Learn to love learning. Admittedly, I think that the educational system has done us some disservice on this one. When I got out of high school and I was going out and starting my first businesses at 18 years old, I was convinced that I hated learning. It turns out that I didn't actually hate learning. I just hated learning all the shit that they made me learn in school, that I was forced, all the books that I was forced to read, the classes I was forced to take. But once I got out and I started picking up books about wealth, money, business building, success, and I started learning from all of the greats in the world, well, it turns out that I actually did enjoy learning, reading, listening to audios. It's just that because I was forced to learn things I didn't necessarily enjoy in high school, I created the belief that I didn't enjoy learning. And learning is important. This will save you years. You can read a book from somebody whose decades of work is poured into that one book. You sit down and read that book in a day, that's a decade in a day of learning happening for you so that you can shortcut the learning curve and get to where it is that you want to go faster. So learn to love learning. Be absolutely stubborn about your goals, dreams, and ambitions. Listen, the people around you are going to try to tell you that, things, the actions you're taking, the goals that you have, the dreams that you're trying to achieve, they're gonna try to tell you that it's stupid, that it's foolish, that it's, naive, and all these sorts of things. When people are out there not going anywhere with their life, they want to tell you that you shouldn't go anywhere with your life either. When people have given up on their goals and dreams, they want to tell you that you should give up on your goals and dreams too. Because if you go out and accomplish that stuff, well, then you put a giant spotlight on the fact that they freaking didn't. So don't listen to all the naysayers out there that are going to tell you that you're not smart enough, not good enough, it's too risky, don't do this, don't do that. Understand that life is ultimately in service of you. If I could tell you anything, remember that. Life is ultimately not happening to you, it's happening for you. And so yes, there's gonna be some lessons. Yes, there's gonna be some failures. Yes, people are gonna, pile around and say, yeah, see, told you so. Don't listen to those folks. When the voices on the inside are clearer and louder than the voices on the outside, then you become a master of your life. Don't listen to those outside voices within reason, right? Within reason, which that's a whole other topic that we could talk about later. But all right, moving on to number 5. Let's go ahead and dive into this one. So purpose versus proximity. What do I mean by that? Most of us have relationships based on proximity. It means the friends that we have today, these are the people that we went to school with, maybe we went to church with, they grew up in our neighborhood or whatever it might be. These are people that are around us by proximity. If you're in a job right now, you're around people and then maybe your coworkers become your friends because of proximity. They're close by. But people within our proximity don't necessarily share our same purpose. Find people and build relationships with people that have a similar purpose to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. When I really figured this out, and this one was 10 years after I started my first business, when somebody finally sat me down and said, Keala, you are no longer allowed to take advice from people that don't have the results that you want to have in life. If we're going to work together, you have to agree with me that you are only going to take advice from people that are where it is that you want to go. And I was like, what? Why didn't I think of that sooner, right? So then I started to build relationships, purpose-driven relationships. I started to make friends with people who were on the same path that I was on and be getting around them on purpose. This is choosing my relationships on purpose, not proximity. Choose your relationships on purpose, not proximity. All right, next one. Study the greats. Similar to learning to love to learn, right? Study the greats. Find the greats in those fields that you want to excel, whatever it might be. If it's sports, fine, study the athletes. If it's business, fine, study the entrepreneurs, the CEOs. If it's gaming or whatever it is, great. Go study the people that are doing the best at it. Study the world's best. We live in a world right now full of information, which means that we have the opportunity to stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before us and build. Now, we don't have to go back and learn all the lessons that they've already learned. We can build on the lessons they've already learned and create new lessons. We get to evolve our species and humanity forward faster by standing on the shoulders of the greats. So if you are in pursuit of something, then find the people that have already accomplished it. Find the greats in that industry, study them, and stand on their shoulders. All right, next is to find the order in the chaos. Find the order in the chaos. The masses live in a world where they think that life is happening to them. The masses live in a world where they think that life is chaotic. They think that everything's out of control. They think that nothing makes sense. But the truth is, as I was alluding to earlier, the truth is that there is a hidden order in all of that chaos. And this is something that I work with our clients on all the time. I teach them at our events, at our live events, and show them proof that there is a hidden order to the apparent chaos. So again, life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you. Whatever goals and dreams and ambitions that you set out to accomplish, know that life is going to bring to you challenges that are going to build you and create you and turn you into the person who's capable of having those goals, dreams, and ambitions. If you want to get something better, you got to become something better. It's not in the riches that we find wealth. It's in the character and mind that we build along the way that we find true wealth. So understand that no matter what is going on in life right now, no matter how chaotic it seems, understand that inside there, hidden behind, our perceptions and our senses, hidden behind all of that is a hidden order that is ultimately lifting you on the path that you are saying that you want to go down. If you expect a breakthrough, be expecting a breakdown too, right? So realize that there is order in the hidden chaos. Become a master of life that sees the hidden order, not the masses of life that live in the apparent chaos. Let's go ahead and dive in. And number 8 is to learn the art and science of influence. No matter what you're going to want to accomplish in life, you're going to have to learn how to be influential in order to do it. Being influential doesn't necessarily mean turning on a camera and shooting YouTube videos. It doesn't mean that you have to be front and center for all the world to see. But it does mean that you're going to have to learn how to influence other people to help you accomplish your goals, dreams, and ambitions.
Sell me this pen.
There's a great book on this called The Charisma Myth, where people believe that they just don't have the charisma it takes to be a leader. They think that they just weren't born with it. They don't have the knack for it. But in The Charisma Myth, they actually break this down and show that everybody has the ability to have charisma and be influential, be magnetic to other people, and you are going to need other people in order to help accomplish the goals and dreams that you have. There is no such thing as a self-made millionaire. That's a bullshit story that people say on the internet. There's nobody who's accomplished anything great that did it all by themselves. They had the support of others around them. Learn to become influential so that you can get other people to help you do what you want to do, but for their reasons, so that you're fulfilled and they're fulfilled. That is the art of influence. Learn it. Number 9 is therapy isn't weakness. Now, there's going to be a lot of folks out there, the trolls on the internet who are sidelining life, and they're going to want to jump in the comments probably here and talk about, how I'm an idiot for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because, well, those people have no opinion that actually matters. Therapy is not weakness. We live in a world right now where, men are kind of told that the best way to deal with your feelings is to shove that shit back down inside and never talk about it again.
Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball!
There's not a single intelligent person that I've ever read, not a great book, not a great podcaster, not a great author, not a great class that I've attended, and there's nobody who is magnificent at what they've accomplished in life who says that the best way to deal with life is to shove all of your issues down inside and never talk about them again. But unfortunately, we as men are told that it's weak to show fear, it's weak to cry and show emotion, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is not weak. It's the weaklings that hide their emotions. It's the weaklings that hide their vulnerabilities. There is nothing weak about being vulnerable, and in fact, when you have the courage to be vulnerable and open and honest and transparent about what you're going through in life and go out and seek help when you need it, well then guess what? You can give permission for other people around you to go out and do the same thing. And if we were all more transparent about the issues that we're dealing with in life, the stresses that we're under, the traumas that we've been through, if we were all more transparent about those things, we would all live a much more peaceful life because we would realize that we're much more alike than we are different. So there's nothing wrong with admitting that you need help somewhere along the way. A coach, a therapist, whatever it might be, and go ahead and be willing to be vulnerable and open and honest and transparent with those people that can help you move through some of the trauma, move through the stress, and become the great, magnificent human being that you were born to be. All right, and number 10, listen more, talk less. We got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Use them in proportion.
You're not really listening to me, are you?
This is something that I learned quite a bit late in life, and I wish I would have known this a lot sooner. In fact, I remember having one of our very first hires in my company today was a sales guy. He was one of the first 5 people that we hired, and he had come over for dinner one night, and he's sitting with me and he says, "Hey, Keala, from being around you, I know that you're smart, man. I know that you know a lot of stuff, but I also noticed that when we're in rooms together, you're usually pretty quiet. Like you just kind of observe and you watch." And I said, "Yeah, man." So he asked me, why are you that way? And I said, well, yeah, man, the reason is because in life, I have realized that everything in life is trying to teach us something. This whole world, this whole universe, this life experience is a giant mirror. We are getting a reflection back at us of who we ultimately are. And sometimes we like that reflection, sometimes we don't. But life is ultimately trying to teach us something. When I look at those reflections, when I look at the results that I have, which, are often not what we want, but they're always fair, right? When I look at the results, when I look at the people, when I look at the rooms that I'm in, when I look at the characters that I'm surrounded by, these things are teaching me something about the way that I'm showing up in my life. Life is trying to teach us something. And if you want to learn, then shut your mouth and open your ears. Listen, be willing to learn. But most people, they just want to talk about how great they are, talk about their goals, talk about their ambitions. They try to impress everybody and they end up impressing nobody, including themselves. Learn to listen to life's lessons and you will be far better off and far sooner. So I hope you got value out of these 10 lessons, my friend. Again, these are things that I wish that I knew a whole lot sooner. If you like this sort of content, then go ahead and click like, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification thing so that you get notified every time I drop new content. When you do the like thing and the whole subscribe thing, go ahead and drop a comment down below too. Let me know if you got some value out of this. Share this with any other young men that you know out there in the world. I look forward to seeing you in a future video.